So once we have the navigation structure laid out for the website, we also want to do what's called a wireframe before we start designing, because at the end of the day a wireframe will save you some time. And a wireframe basically is a visual representation of the elements on the website. So if we go over to here, I've installed this plugin called Wiry, so you can download this as well and install it, and it's a really good useful plugin. I'm using it on Chrome. And what it does is it gives us a visual wireframe of any website. So I can go over to here. I can actually open up into Wiry, and this is the website where you could download this from. And it works as a plugin, so you could go over to any website and see the wireframe outline of the website. So here I've got one for the Bootstrap one, and you can see a basic outline. So we've just have the elements. We've got here one on Bootstrap, so we can see that this is the navigation. We've got some text here, we've got some images here, and really gives us a really good idea of a structure of a website. And when it comes to design, this can really help you out in breaking out and understanding where to place certain elements. As you can see here, they've got the proportions are all laid out, and everything is kind of planned out ahead of time before you bring in this content. So you can think of it kind of like a blueprint for a website, and we can see here when we click off of it, so they've got their navigation up here, they've got a logo, they've got a header here, an image, some advertisements here, and when we go down here we can see that this is indeed the structure of the site. So this is going to be dynamic, playable, changing content. This is text content, images. And the same thing if you're doing a storyboard or a wireframe. It's a good place to start out, especially if you've got a website where you're going to have different framing structures. So maybe you want to have a different layout for your index page and a different layout for different sections. Again, a good idea is to wireframe it out and to work with that to make it kind of flow through all the different sections and pages of your site. And without the wireframe, the designers aren't actually going to be able to determine what they want to do on the website. So it really does help the designers out if you are submitting a design and if you want to have a certain amount of images, graphics, logos, and so on in your site. A few really good solutions for wireframing. So again, adding in this plugin, this Wiry plugin, is really a great idea, and you could really get started quickly with understanding. So download the plugin, go to a few of your favorite websites, and check out what they look like in a wireframe. And then this will begin to give you a better idea of where to get started with your own designs. So again, if you've created a website, if you're trying to create a website and your client's giving you one that he really likes, you can go over to Wiry, you can see how the page is laid out, how the structure of the page, and you can work with something similar to that. So I'm going to be using one called Pencil. So this is open source GUI that's available in all platforms. So I'm going to be using the Windows version. There's also another one called Just in Mind, which I think is probably a little bit better, but yeah, it's a free edition. You could download this for free as well. So when I open up Pencil, these are the options that I'm presented with. And as well for design, there's a few other options that we're just going to touch on just so that you are aware. Google actually has a new release, what they call Google Web Designer. And this one is full of a lot of features. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with it, and you can really bring your web designs to life with it. So I've got it open over here. And as you can see, basically you can pick out a template, so whatever type of template you're looking to create. And again, there's those mobile first ones. There's ones here. You can preview them. You can also it's set up with ad areas, YouTube players, and so on. So there's a lot of stuff that comes already installed and set up, and you can see here in the example, this is what it's going to look like. So if you want to have something like this where you've got a logo, a description text, and some navigation there. You can just simply select that to install, and again a whole bunch of options here. So if I go to preview, and this is a relatively new piece of software that's available in Google, and as we can see here, we're previewing, that was a preview on that small size, and then this is a preview on full size of that application. And here it's pre-configured for video, some navigation, some ads there, and a description and logo. So again, if you're interested, Google Web Designer, it's another free download, and it's a really powerful tool. You can flip through, you can see the code view as well, so you see all the different coding there, and then you can publish it, you can output it, you've got the CSS, you've got your asset libraries, different components, different colors, and again a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with this. But for this example and for this lesson, we're just going to stick with Pencil for now. So we're going to open that back up, and this is going to give us all that we need to create our basic wireframe. So obviously not as powerful as the design, and this is really not just meant for wireframing. This is meant for styling and designing the entire site. So here we just wanted to place some wireframing, and the good thing about it is that you can place these common shapes. You can place some text in there. You can see here that I can fairly easily come up with a wireframe. It also has the ability to generate out some text here, so I can just right click on it and I can go generate some random text this way. So it actually gives us a better feel and look about how the website's going to look. So again, we've got the ability to do these H1 headings. And we can go a little bit beyond a wireframe in it, so that if we do want to include breadcrumbs, it's got those as well. So we can really style out and build out our website. Again, if we want to have an image over here, we can just put an image in there, resize that accordingly. And by being able to create this basic type template and framework, you're going to be able to present that to a client and just give them a mock-up of what the website's going to look like. Of options here, so if you've got some buttons that you want to insert, you can very easily insert these things. And also you're able to create those flow charts that we had looked at earlier, so you're able to create those as well in here. So if you want to do everything in one piece of software, you can do that here as well to create your flow charts about how your navigation of your site is going to flow. So this is Pencil, and again a whole bunch of options. Really good, useful piece of software. You could download it and it's free. And then also you could check out different ones like Just in Mind and the Web Designer, Google Web Designer. And if you want to design directly on your page, so if you need some dummy text as a placeholder, so if you got a really simple design and you're just going ahead and designing it, there's a few websites that have this lorem ipsum, and that's just basically text that really doesn't mean anything, and it's just more like a placeholder text. So you can just copy that out. You can create the text here by words, by bytes, by lists, paragraphs, and so on. So you could customize that. There's a few different outputs here as well, and we also have a lorem pixel. So if we need something to as a placeholder for images, you can always use these lorem pixels as well, and this is, you can directly post within your code. So this is a great way to kind of fill up some content. So if I had content here and I needed just some dummy text, I can generate that here. So I'm just going to generate 5 paragraphs. And as well, if I needed an image, let's say if I wanted a sports image, I can copy that link address. I can go here, I can insert an image. and just place the image there. And this is just a great way to get some placeholder image. And then going back to the text, now I can grab this text and use this text. And again, placeholder text, so it really doesn't mean anything. It's just a bunch of text there that's holding a place. And you can see here in our preview area that we do have this image pops up. So maybe we could just move this up a little bit or move it within the text there. Back out to our web page and refresh it. And see that all of this placeholder stuff now is going to be in place. We see that we've got our text and our images showing up. So this is another way to present something to a client, or just to get a better idea of what your site is going to look like before you're actually creating it. So you could use any one of these tools, but it always is a good idea to use wireframing, because this is really going to help you out a lot in the long term, especially when it comes to design. If you want to really create some really interesting and nice designs, and you're going for more than just this kind of plain design where we've got a header, content, and footer, or a header, navigation, content, and footer. If you've got more to your website than that, and you want to be doing more designs, you can use any one of these. As well, there's a few open source image manipulation programs such as GIMP that you can use as well in order to be able to create these different diagrams and mock-ups of your website before you actually go live. So these are just all good resources to use in the design process.